Hello friends, welcome back to Cosmopolitan Cornbread. So today I am going to talk about carnivore eating. Now this is one of those things that's actually a little controversial. Believe it or not, as you can tell if you've been around here for a little while, I've lost a good bit of weight in the last few months. When we were in the process of moving, I was exhausted, of course, from traveling back and forth between Alabama and Arkansas, from just the physical labor of moving boxes, carrying furniture and all that stuff, and building animal structures and all of that. But the exhaustion that I was dealing with was much, much more than that. And I was dealing with a lot of physical pain. Not just, oh, I overdid it yesterday, I picked up a box that was too heavy. This was, my feet ached, my hands ached. I would wake up in the morning and it would take me a little bit to stand up out of the bed because it took me some time to straighten my body. Because everything hurt. My neck, my back. And finally, one day I was like, you know what? Enough is enough. Because as I shared in a video a few weeks ago, back when I had gone paleo, I felt so much better. When I got rid of all the carbs, I just felt better. And I had been talking to quite a few people who had been doing carnivore, and it was like every time I turned around, I was meeting somebody else who was doing carnivore, and I'm like, you know what, I know it's a little more extreme than paleo, but I'm going to give it a try. And so I just decided to do it, and I had committed at first to doing 30 days. It was easy, the results were fantastic, and from then I did it for another 30 days, and then I just kind of kept extending it and extending it. I did not change anything else in my lifestyle. I only changed the way I ate, and the results were fantastic. My overall body pain was gone. I lost weight. I could think straight. It was great. And so when I shared about that, how I had been losing weight, quite a few people wanted to know what I eat, or what a typical day looks like. And to be honest, my husband travels a lot for work right now, and when he's out of town, what I eat is really, really simple. And it may seem really, really boring too. But I'll just share with you what I've done, and you can just do some more homework, do some more reading up on it if you're interested. And, there's tons of recipes out there, but when I was in the middle of moving, I just did not have the time or energy to be cooking a bunch of stuff, and I didn't want to cook a bunch of stuff for just me. Now, first of all, before I get into that, there are different mindsets about the carnivore diet. Some people have the opinion that when you're doing carnivore, it is anything animal-based. So dairy is fine, any kind of meat is fine, that seasonings, sugar-free sauces, all of those are fine, just keep them all to a minimum. Make sure that the carnivore aspect is the #1 aspect of what you're eating. You have some people who say, well, if you're doing carnivore, you should not be doing dairy, it should be only meat. And then you have the extremists who say carnivore is meat and salt and nothing else. No coffee, no tea, no flavors in your electrolytes, nothing. It should be meat and salt. Salt in your water, that's your electrolytes. No, I could not do that. Honestly, if I had to do meat and salt and nothing else and just salt in my water, I wouldn't be able to do it. That's a little too much for me. There's no way I could stick to that. So a typical day for me was getting up in the morning. Now, I did go through a stint where I couldn't drink coffee because I do periodically have problems with that. But most mornings I got up, I'd have a cup of coffee with some lactose-free half and half. And then a little bit later in the day, I would make myself some late breakfast. If you are not familiar with the carnivore diet at all, this might sound a little nuts, but I would cook up an entire package of turkey sausage. Like, I don't know, 6 or 8 patties, however many came in it. And I would eat the whole thing. I would eat until I was full, but not ridiculously stuffed. Very full. And that was it. Now, I drank lots of water all day long. I drink them with electrolytes, and I'll talk about electrolytes in a minute. But then I would go about my day. And usually about late afternoon, I'd start getting hungry again. I didn't really snack. I would just stick to the meals. Late breakfast, kind of early dinner. So around dinner time, I would make myself something else to eat. My go-to, very easy, and still is my go-to meal when I just need to get something in me. I really started seeing my food as fuel and looking at it through that lens, and it just kind of shifted for me. Okay, I'm hungry, I need to eat, I need fuel, and I would put in fuel. And so my go-to was my air fryer with burger patties. I would just get the 80-20 burger patties from Aldi's, cook up 3 or 4 of them depending upon how hungry I was, add a little bit of real salt, the Redmond real salt to those, slice of cheese, and I would eat those with my sugar-free Primal Kitchen steak sauce. That's how I like to eat them. I did not give up sauces. I did not give up ketchup. I didn't give up steak sauce. I do use minimal sauces, but I do choose the sugar-free ones. And that's what I've been doing. But every morning I either cooked up some sausage or I cooked up some beef bacon or turkey bacon. I prefer beef bacon. Cook those up. I would eat enough to get me full and then go about my day. And then later in the day, I would start getting hungry. I would make myself burger patties, or I would, sometimes I would do chicken breasts with some seasoning, maybe some barbecue sauce, the Primal Kitchen, sugar-free, soy-free, all that stuff, barbecue sauce, and have that for dinner. Or I might make some salmon. But I did heavy on the meat, a little bit of seasoning, some sauces just to make it pleasant, and I would eat enough, once again, to make myself full, good and full. And then that was it. And in a matter of just a few days, I did go into ketosis. My body did go into dietary ketosis. There's certain signs that you know you have achieved it. Now, I will say that at first, when I started doing carnivore, I was not drinking enough water. I had not yet purchased electrolyte mixes. I was just drinking lots of water, and I was adding salt to my food. It wasn't enough. I did start getting muscle cramps. I would wake up in the middle of the night with those calf cramps and all that stuff. And I had extremely dry skin. I mean, like, you've been scrubbing the house all day long and you know your hands get dry. That dry, but it was my whole body. So I was drastically under consuming water and electrolytes. And so when I figured that out right away, I started upping how much water I was drinking. You know, I fill this is a, how many ounces is this? This is a 40-ounce bottle. I will usually fill this up 3 or 4 times a day. I put electrolytes in it every single time, and that is what I did. I consumed meat with some dairy. Oh, another thing I would do is cheeseburger bowls. I did not give up onion and garlic. I continued using onion and garlic. I just didn't use a ton of it, just enough to flavor the meat to make it pleasant. I want to still enjoy what I'm eating. You know what I mean? I'm not just going to eat meat and salt. I want to still enjoy it. There is actually a thing called food fatigue, where you eat the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, and you just get to where you just don't want to eat anymore. You got to eat. So in some way, you do need to enjoy what you're eating, or you're going to get sick of it. Once my body did go into ketosis, and I started just feeling the good energy, the inflammation was gone. There were times when I wouldn't necessarily even eat 2 meals a day. Depending on how physically active I get, I may not be that hungry. And so some days I would only eat 1 meal. And that was all I needed. And I didn't feel like I was depriving myself. I wasn't making myself be hungry. You know, I wasn't going hungry. If I was hungry, I ate until I was comfortably stuffed, as Dr. Ken Berry says, and I went about my day. And that's what I've been doing, and it has been a huge difference for me. Now, I said in the video where I talked about originally going carnivore, how I don't see myself doing this forever, just realistically, but I can see myself doing this as a reset. You know, periodically, every so often, you know, cutting everything else out, kind of resetting everything with my body. And it's just listening to your body, you know, and seeing how you're doing. At this point, what I have been doing, I've been doing this for a couple weeks now, is all throughout the week, I'm being really strict. I'm not eating a bunch of junk. I'm sticking to mainly my version of carnivore throughout the week. And then on Friday night through Saturday for Shabbat, I'm eating other things. Usually I'll make something like a keto recipe or a paleo recipe, because those are both low carb recipes. But you know, here's the thing. I might be eating carnivore, but I have a husband and he doesn't necessarily want carnivore. So for instance, last week I made a paleo beef stew. It was really heavy on the meat, and I just made that for both of us. He ate all of the stew. I kind of picked out the carrots and everything, and I just mostly ate the meat. And that's just a way that I can kind of make things work for the both of us. That way he's not feeling like he's being deprived either, you know? Because I signed up for doing this, he didn't. Now, when it comes to bread, I do hope that down the road I will actually be able to begin implementing long fermented sourdough bread. That's my goal, but I also only want to really do that for Shabbat, and just, you know, abstain from it the rest of the week. See how my body does. If my body can handle the long ferment sourdough, then we'll go with it. And if my joint pain starts coming back and things like that, then I'll know my body isn't going to like it, and we'll just, you know, and we'll just adjust from there. It's all about listening to your body, what your body can handle, and what your body can't. Oh, I did want to mention too, I had a couple people make comments about the carnivore diet not being biblical. You know, how if you want to eat biblically, then you should go by Genesis and you should be vegan. If you want to be vegan, by all means be vegan. I do not think that that is necessarily God's mandate. We don't live in the Garden of Eden. I go more by the dietary laws in Leviticus and all of that. I do eat clean, biblically clean. I don't eat pork. I don't eat shellfish, etc. That is not a point that I'm going to argue. You do you. That's how I look at it. So as I was saying, electrolytes. I have 3 different kind of electrolytes that I kind of rotate in between. And, well, actually 4. There's 4. There's 3 that are flavored. There's 1 that is not. The unflavored one is a liquid. It's drops. And that is what I was using at first. I was putting the drops in my water. By itself, it wasn't enough because it's called Keto Chow electrolyte drops. And they're filled with all sorts of wonderful minerals and all that. But when you put it in plain water, it makes your water taste like ocean water. And if you've ever been to the beach and you get that water in your mouth, it tastes disgusting. That's what it made your water taste like. And I was not drinking enough water. I was trying to make myself do it. I couldn't do it. And so I started purchasing 3 different types of flavored electrolytes. They are all sugar-free, they are all keto-friendly, paleo-friendly, etc. They are Element, L-M-N-T, Element. They come in little single-serve pouches that you just pour into your drink. I don't think they come in bulk, like scoop packages. I think they only come in the pouches. Another one that I get is the Real Light by Redmond's, as in the Redmond Real Salt people, whose salts I have used for years. They have them as well. They come in all different flavors. They come in single-serve pouches, or they come in little containers with scoops, and it's like 30 or 40 servings per jar. And then there's also a brand called Ultima, and Ultima also comes in all different flavors. I think that one only comes in the jars. I've never seen it anywhere in pouches. If it comes in pouches, then I've just never seen it. But I kind of rotate between those 3. I think the Ultima has the best flavor. However, I'd have to compare them again, but I think Element and the Real Light have more minerals. So what I had been doing is putting the flavored electrolytes in my water, and then adding a few more drops of the Keto Chow electrolytes just to boost my electrolytes. I've also been taking potassium and magnesium additionally on top of what I've been drinking, because you do have to drink a lot of water when you are doing carnivore. Carnivore is a type of keto diet. Not all keto is carnivore, but carnivore is keto. And so when you are doing keto, you do have to drink a lot more water, especially if it's a carnivore diet, because you're not consuming carbohydrates, and so you're not consuming things that keep water in your body, so you have to consume more to keep it in and keep your body hydrated. And if you're drinking plain water, you're going to be flushing out all the electrolytes that your body needs, so you have to supplement with those. And so that's why I'm drinking lots and lots of electrolytes and taking the potassium and magnesium just in pill or capsule form additionally, because my body needs that anyways, even if I'm not eating this way. And I can tell if I'm not drinking enough just by the way my skin feels, and I can tell if I'm not getting enough electrolytes because I will wake up in the middle of the night with those muscle cramps, and that is no way to wake up during the night. So at this point, I'm still eating mostly carnivore. I am kind of mixing in some keto types of recipes here and there, especially for Shabbat, because I always like to make that a nice meal and just make something special. And so doing something keto or paleo is just an easy way to do that. I'm still staying low carb, but I'm not just, eating burgers or cheeseburger bowls. Oh, that's what I started mentioning earlier. Another thing I would do is cheeseburger bowls. I would cook up some ground beef with some onion, maybe some garlic, sprinkle in some shredded cheese, and it was delicious. Oh, and I would add a little bit of spicy Primal Kitchen ketchup, kind of stir that all together. Fantastic. Easy dinner, effortless. I would eat until I was comfortably stuffed. Eating burger patties or sausage is just an easy way to kind of step into it if you don't do a lot of cooking, but there's tons of recipes out there, and I've been even adapting some of the recipes that I make already to being more carnivore-like. You just kind of have to play around with it, and there's tons of resources out there for carnivore types of recipes, and I will share more of them as well on my website as time goes on. So I hope that answers some questions. If you want to get more information about this way of eating, I will put a link down below to the YouTube channel that I have watched a ton of videos on, and you can get some more information there. So thanks for joining me out here. If you have any more questions for me about this, please leave them in the comments down below, and I will do my best to try and answer them. So I will talk to y'all next time.